And, I have to leave at 9:15.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely fine.
I'll drop off. I will not disturb you people if you're continuing with it.
Okay, no worries. Okay, so I had something to share with you and also ask a question. Maybe I don't know how far you will answer. My question is that how do you experience Paramatma? Any answer?
You're asking to a set of people who don't know what Paramatma is.
Okay. That's a nice way of dealing the problem. Okay. So we have spoken over it earlier also. It's not something new, but I thought the insight what I had might help you to experience right now. Okay, so what you need to do is just
I will respond something, then you can clarify.
Go ahead.
Good exercise for the mind. See, Atma and Paramatma, two things we discussed earlier.
Right.
Atma is what is there inside. Paramatma is the higher one.
Right.
And how to experience? Because always we in the village side we always say that everything that Paramatma controls, including our heartbeat, and it is not made by us. And because of that heartbeat, Paramatma is sitting inside. Everything happens. So he is sitting inside me, and he making me to work or activate. So that is the definition at a very crude level.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think you can experience Atma, I don't know, Paramatma or Atma, if you just be.
Yeah, experience. Yeah, here experience is when you have gone through the very tough time. You know that you will not survive due to any reason, maybe accident, maybe something which is come very, very close to you, and then you escaped from there. That time you immediately remember, oh, because of some magic happened. That magic is because of that Paramatma.
Okay.
In my view, it is the peace that we feel sometimes, meaning there is no happiness, there is no sadness, there is no excitement, there is nothing, there is simply that peace. For me, that is Paramatma. Meaning that is the experience of Paramatma is what I feel. Meaning, I know it is not Paramatma because it's not so easy to experience it, but I have felt that peace so many times, and whenever I feel that peace, that short duration of that peace, I feel there is nothingness around, and that for nothingness is Paramatma.
Okay, nice, good. So now you can experience it for yourself and see what it is. So what you do is you just close your eyes, okay, and then try to watch this. So when the saliva enters into your stomach, there is no name of that saliva. In fact, we keep on sucking the saliva all the time. Similarly, when food is put in the mouth and it goes inside, you can see that if we are 4 of us eating, all the 4 will get the kind of digestion that is prudent for that being. So this being is the GV, and the digestion is what is happening. That's a process which happens irrespective of whether it is me or you or whatever. So there is common thing called as digestion. Then there is common thing called as circulation. Then there is common thing called as breathing. Then there is common thing called as walking. And there is common thing called as urinating. And there is common thing called as defacing, like that. So if you really make it something equal to it and can see that it is happening automatically, where no person is doing anything about it, then immediately you can experience that Paramatma. And if you want to go even more deeper, you can look at how the sound is coming. So you're not doing anything to the sound. You're not doing anything to the sight. You're not doing anything to the taste. You're not doing anything to the touch. And you're not doing anything to the smell. And you're also not doing anything to the thoughts. They just appear because of that consciousness. If you don't name it, then you are in Brahman. If you name it, you become Atma. Try it out. Just see all of these process. Don't name anything. Don't make it as yours. Don't make it as you. Just watch that everyone is walking, everyone is breathing, everyone's blood is circulating, the food is circulating. And then everybody is, or everyone, meaning every being, can be animal or bird or whatever, they are able to digest, urinate and deface. But don't name anything. And naming in the sense that as you or me or whatever. And come to the sight and sound and taste, touch, smell and thoughts. So there you can see it is not your sight, it is just a sight. It is not your sound, it's just a sound. It is not your taste, just the taste, like that. And everybody tastes. It's not only I taste. And if you do it properly, you will feel that complete bliss without you being there. Done, or do you want to stay for some more time?
Few more minutes.
Okay, take your time. Yeah, but you want to share? Yeah, do you want to come out of it? Maybe you can try it out. Anything you have to share?
Yeah. What I felt is when I started going through this process, first in 2 minutes, I reached a very relaxed peace of mind. Then I started again thinking what is Paramatma and what is Jivatma, like that some thought process happened. So in that, whatever which happens commonly across all these jivas, yes, I got a inside feel that it is common, no conflict, everything is smoothly and very rhythmically it happens. Either digestion process or the movements or sound, or whatever it is. Then I got a feel that when the commonality is there across all the people, now two minds are talking to each other and they have conflict of interest. So when there is a conflict of interest, there is exchange of some heated arguments, and then raga, dvesha, everything will come out. Then in my thinking, what has come is that that's happened because of the reflected consciousness of that person to reflected consciousness of this person's. They are talking to each other, but it's very, very temporary in nature. And then it will die on its own. But the Paramatma related one is something like permanent, and it will continue to happen based on its own nature. Nature means the law, either digestion or heartbeat or walking or producing sound and all those things which happens commonly across all these jivas. That is some thought process point of view.
Good, very nice. Yeah, the only another addition you need to do is you then need to make yourself as everyone. After you practice this, make you as everyone and everything, and you see what happens. You will not be able to recognize yourself at all, and that state of mind is called release. So now you are released out of the pain.
That means you are dropping your mind. You are entering into universal mind.
Yes.
So universal mind, no conflict, right?
Absolutely nothing. You felt the peace right now, correct?
Yeah.
Whether you knew Vedanta, whether you believed something, you didn't believe in something, it really doesn't matter. It's experiential.
Yes.
And it is yours. It's nothing to do with what Vedanta says, what that says, or this says. Now, will I be able to stay in this state forever? Depends on the moral values. That's all. And that's what Bhagvadgita talks about. If you
What is that? Moral?
Moral values. So if we are moral, as indicated, then you will be there in that state forever. Whether body exists or doesn't exist, wife exists or doesn't exist, husband exists, doesn't exist, situations, whatever exist or not existing, it doesn't make any difference to you, because you are that Paramatma.
Yeah, moral, ethical, and all that is that Paramatma, right?
Yes, because it doesn't
That is the instruction given to our mind, you follow it.
Yes, so it doesn't distinguish between two people at all. It doesn't say one is good, another is bad. So the mind has to be established with moral values. Lata and Padmashri, you have anything to state?
Not exactly. So it is like sometime back we were trying to experience Virat Rupa.
Yes, exactly.
Vishwarupa.
It will automatically bring you there.
Yeah, it automatically brings you there, and I was feeling that kind of compassion for everyone, including me.
Yes. That is what you will get. So Paramatma is Karunamayi, that is what is said. So you are feeling that. So you'll feel highest amount of compassion. If you do it properly, you will really feel that.
Yeah, that's true. For every living being, you feel that.
Yes. So then you will see the cockroach or rat or cat or this or that, they don't have way to experience this, what you are experiencing. So that makes you feel very much filled with karuna. Now your mind is so much elevated that you can experience this, whereas those beings cannot experience at all. Even though it has the Paramatma there, it cannot know that Paramatma exists. Padmashri, you have anything to say?
Not exactly. I just felt the peace, which I generally say, that feeling of nothingness.
Okay.
I feel that.
Okay. Then let's continue on the 17th verse. So now when we are in the Asuric state of mind, meaning where the person has all the things he thinks or she thinks has to be possessed, Then the 17th verse talks about what happens. So, Atma Sambhava Bhavitaha Stabdaha Dhana Manam Adanvitaha Yajante Nama Yagnehi Te Dambhena Avidhi Purvakam. So, very fulfilling kind of person who gets into a stubborn attitude that it has to happen. So let's say today he has thought that some yajna or some dana or something has to be done, and he will ensure that is done today. So Atma Sambhavitaha, so he has a self-conceited view that I am doing it. Dana Manam Adanvitaha. So basically what happens is that the material comforts make a person lose his mind or her mind, because all of us are looking at comforts, and there is nothing wrong in finding comforts, but it becomes an addiction wherein the person feels all the time in his heart that he or she has to be comfortable. So then there are two things which are looked as comfortable. One is the relationships have to be comfortable, and secondly the material comforts. So every person spends time in mending and bending the relationship to make oneself comfortable. And the same way happens with material comforts. So when things start working, that means when the good time comes and everything is working like a symphony, the person is filled with pride and has everything to offer, and he becomes, generally that person will be very rich. When we say rich in terms of material, what he can possess, he doesn't have any kind of deprivement, because that is what it has brought him to. So now I do some yajna, or I go to temples, or I do certain fasting, certain things what has been said, and then the planetary positions are better placed, and then I wear the ring on my fingers, as many rings as the astrologer says, and then I give good amount of sambhavana or reward to that priest or the astrologer who is doing all these things, and I see that my son or daughter or wife or husband, my parents and everyone is happy, and the thing has been taken care. Even though I would say in my words that, oh, God has given us so much, but actually inside I am very filled with pride that how I have brought it up. So then yajante nama yajnihate, so they do it only for namesake. They are so much in fear that they don't want anything to get lost. So whatever is directed by anyone, they pay money and then they say that you do it and I will bear the fruit. So generally the yajna is to be done by the person who wants to do it. Cannot be done by a priest. So generally what we do is that since we don't know what needs to be done, so we appoint a priest, and he will say, give me 20,000 or 30,000, 50,000, 1 lakh or whatever it is. And we ask him to do, and he will say, I'll bring everything, or we will say, we will bring that, and then give him, and he finishes. We call some people at our home and they will have food. So dana has been done, the process has got completed. So now I feel very happy, and I feel that I had done what I'm supposed to do. So if somebody were to ask what this yajna is all about, and then I will say, this I did it for my daughter's or son or getting a child or getting this or getting that. And as far the detail is concerned, that priest who did it knows it better. I only paid this much amount of money and we performed. Same thing with all kind of things. So we can put our children to tuitions. I can go and join an institute for getting management course. Because now I have money, I can do all of that, and then the idea or intention is to make even more money than what I am making. So it creates again dambha. Dambhena avidhi purvakam. So they go contrary to the scriptures, what has been written. The scripture talks about moksha, but he does bandhana. So some people I have seen, like near my home, there's one temple where that there is one woman who comes. She's been coming to that temple for last 15 plus years. And whenever she comes, she is decked up with gold and silk saree and all that. And the moment the priest sees this woman coming, he opens up a different door for her where she can go and stand. And she will be looking at people as though, how much I have got the reward for this, because her husband is a trustee of the temple. So the very look of hers shows that how much of dambha and how much of ahankara is getting developed. The very fact that she's going and standing there. So the priest gives one kind of thing to others and another kind of thing to that woman who comes to the temple. And the same thing in every temple, every church or mosque or whatever places of worship. You will have this happening. And if I am that person also, I will do the same thing, because I have paid, let us say I have contributed 10 lakh to that temple construction, and they put my name and my wife goes there, so they give a special darshan. So there is nothing wrong in that, is what I feel. So we have paid that much amount of money and we have been taken care. But from the spiritual standpoint, this is one of the worst things you can have, because it is asura. And anything that is asura will become a bondage. Anything that is sura will get into liberation. So the 18th verse talks about what happens to such people. Ahankaram balam darpam kamam krodam cha samshritaha mam atma para deheshu prad vishanti abhi asuyakaha. So that develops into ego. Balam is strength, darpam is show of that strength, which is basically arrogance. Kamam krodam cha samshritaha. So since my mind is filled up with lust of senses, like some people, they go to a hotel and they order many things and then they get upset when the food is not there. They abuse that person who is serving them. They are abusing the food. They don't know that getting food is so difficult. They go by their darpa. That is, I have paid this much and you have got me a bad meal. And then the manager or the owner of that establishment comes running and he then asks for apology and this and that, and then there is a compensation, or he is eating it for free. All that would happen. So kama krodha cha samshritaha. And we have been watching. We see that in offices, we see that at home, we see that outside our home, or we ourselves might be doing that. Mam Atma para deheshu. That is, this consciousness is the one which is running the show, but that person thinks he is running the show. So they hate themselves because the anger and jealousy and pride and ego and all that is part of the mind. It's not part of the consciousness. So they hate themselves, which is me. Mam means me, that is that consciousness in their own and other bodies. That is, I call that manager shout at him so much that all the other people are watching what is happening. There is so much of commotion, and then the manager in turn blasts that supplier the server, and that guy goes inside and blasts the cook who prepared that food. And this customer wants to do a walkout, but then the manager says that no, please don't do that, sir. It is so embarrassing. I'm very sorry, and you will not charge you, but please have lunch and go, or please have food and go. Don't go like that. So then this guy feels so nice that he got what he wanted. So then 2-3 people are there serving them, ensuring that the taste is good and this is good and that is good. So that person hated himself. That self is the consciousness, so he hated it. He then hated that server who had come, because it's not his mistake. Whatever was done in that kitchen was not of good quality. So he shouted on that person, and then he shouted on the manager, he shouted on so many people. So all of that causes injury to the consciousness. So it is himsa. And because of that, they have this pradvishantihi abhi asuyakaha. So they become very malicious, intended, and asuya, that means they keep on comparing and hating, comparing and hating. So they get jealous if something is served much better to somebody else. And this happens when we are in a line and somebody gets served much faster than us. We feel it. We get into asuya, jealous, envious feeling that how come he is served much better. Let's say 2 students are taken the exam. The one of them have taught the other one, and the other one gets more marks than the first one. So they get malicious. That person feels so cheated that how come this friend of mine got so much marks, because I have taught him and I got less and he got more. So next time he feels that he should not be helping anybody at all. And this happens. So the verse number 19 talks about the rewards. Tan aham dvish shatah kruran samsareshu nara adhaman kshipami ajasram ashubhan asureshu eva yonishu. So dvishtaha, that is one who is extremely cruel and you don't know which way he is going to turn himself into. And kruran, so they hate and they are very cruel. When things doesn't work in their way, they become extremely cruel, including torturing their own parents for that. So samsareshu nara adhaman. Adhaman means adhama is the lowest way of existence. So they basically show the lowest traits where that consciousness can take them to. kshipami ajasram ashubhan. So he says, the consciousness then pulls these people down, that mind down. Asureshu eva yonishu. They will be born only in the place of Asura. Now they can be human beings, because until unless the human bhava is completed, nobody can become an animal. But they will be born in a place where only that can thrive. And whoever comes in touch with them, they either become Asura or they get victimized. And that helps the consciousness to take them to the next lowest level and next lowest level. So it keeps on stepping down and gets into this state of existence, which is demonic. Now, when the person gets into demonic, what happens? Asurim yonim apanna mudaha janmani janmani mam aprapya eva kaunteya tataha yanti adamam gatim. So now this is a spiral. So you require lot of victims. So asuras are in search of victims, and it is very easy to victimize, because first and foremost, the rule of the game is that that person should be having lot of self-pride, perfection and creation. And then that person should also have a lot of ambition, to an extent that he doesn't consider anybody as a human. He or she consider anybody as just an object. Just like most of the US companies would treat everybody as an object. As long as you are serving, you are working, you are getting the products delivered, you are rewarded. The moment that doesn't happen, the very next moment that person is given pink slip saying that, sorry, you don't have to exist here in our organization. So it is full of asura. Supposing somebody wants to settle down in US and loves US for whatever reason, then they are in a place of asura, and their mind would be resonating the asuric feeling, which is completely filled with competition, completely filled with comparison, and everything is measured in terms of money and power. And that's the reason any person in the US would, or any Indian who has settled down in the US, is always in fear of losing job. Even if it is 70 years or 75 years, he would like to work, because the more he works, the better he feels. The less he works, the worse he feels, because everybody is going to compare and find out what he or she is doing and all of that. And even though there is unemployment and all of that being there, but majority of the population would like to strive for getting more and more. So if I don't have that kind of an ability, I cannot survive in the US. Or I will have my mind modified to suit that. So basically, if asuric quality have to be taken up, it is this aspect of continuous competition with oneself and with others brings them to asura, because the consciousness is not at all taken into consideration. It's the person versus another person. So there should be some comparison, some measurement, metrics and all that, and then I need to be perfect than the other person. So in that demonic way of living, asurim yonim apanna, that is when they have come into the wombs of such beings, mudaha janmani janmani, in births after births, they get more and more deluded. Mam aprapya eva kaunteya. So now they have closed the consciousness forever. They will never be able to see it again, because then they're going to go from human into other realm of existence. Tataha yanti adhamam gatim. So they fall into condition even lower than humans. That means they become animals or pretas or something like that, where it is impossible to see anything called as consciousness. So if since Lata has a dog, if she can go and talk to Bruno and ask, do you know your consciousness, what it would do? It will lick Lata at the max, thinking that she is going to give something to that dog. And it licks her hand, and it will wag its tail, and it will make some sound and sit. That's all what it can do. It cannot understand what is consciousness. A normal human being also cannot understand consciousness. So when the asuric qualities are developed, they cannot experience consciousness at all. Meaning, even if we say that we are all one and this and that, it is only for word's sake. Just like the politicians speak that we are all one, we are like this, we are like that, and then comes the country, then the state, then this and that. So that's all asuric qualities. Then verse number 21. Then he says, Trividam narakasya idam dwaram nashanam atmanaha kama krodha tata lobha tasmat etat trayam trayet. Tyajet. So these are the three hells. Dwaram nashanam atmanaha. So that mind, atma, which is having that power source, gets into kama, krodha and lobha. So these are the three things which destroy the mind and makes it forget that there is something called as consciousness, which is driving everything in everywhere. So the person get into kama, lustful thoughts of all the five senses. Krodha, when that thing, that is raga, dvesha and moha, if we were to take that. Lobha is greed. So he gets into this deluded mentality that all the living is for kama. If that doesn't work, then krodha. If it is working, then lobha. Tasmat etat trayam tyajet. Therefore, one who is wanting to be in Sura should leave immediately kama, krodha and lobha. Otherwise, these three takes him to hell. In steps, that's all. Meaning, I am born as a human, next life also born as a human, that next life born as a human. Till the human bhava exists, I keep on accumulating more and more of kama, krodha, lobha, which then is sufficient cause for moving into next deadliest realm of existence, which is either animal or a preta or in the naraka. And once I get into that, there is no escape. If Bruno can escape this, then all animals can escape that. And if Lata were to try it out today, talking to Bruno about what is liberation, and what Bruno does is very fantastic. It will not listen. It will lick her hand, or it will start going up and down near her. And if a daughter calls, then it will go there, wagging its tail. That's all it will do. And that state of existence is called as hell, where you absolutely don't know for what you are born in that state of existence. Any questions, or shall I continue?
Yeah, when you talk about Bruno, I remember in the morning when I go to kitchen, sometimes he will also come and sit. Just sit and keep watching me. And maybe he's wanting something to eat or something. He just sits there. He sits there for a long time and keep watching and watching and watching. His eyes will be shining, and then I will think, okay, this consciousness is looking through that eyes. But sometimes that is true. Whatever you say is true. You talk to him, he will come and sit, wag his tail, so he doesn't understand anything. It's like a child, some 2-year-old child.
Yes. Absolutely. So all of the Vedanta, what we are speaking today, if I become Bruno, what is the use?
It's all gone, yeah.
It's completely wiped out.
Do you mean this Prani Varga? They evolved where? From where? What was their previous Janma? Is it Manusha Janma or something different?
No, Manusha Janma.
Okay, my question is like this. Is it only papis of Manusha? They take birth as next life like this, animals?
If the person who has the highest amount of Raga, Dvesha, Moha will take animal realm of existence. So you are accumulating in every life. Let's say you have, but it is like this. Human life, let's say, is 10,000 years. Divided into 100 years in each life. And depending upon the situation of the environment, whether you can lead 100 or not is a question mark. So when the environment changes, that body might not be able to sustain. So the person dies, let's say he has died at 60 in this. Then he again gets another human life to continue. So then he stayed for 80. Then the next life he has stayed for 100. Then the next life he died at 40. Then the next life he has died at whatever it is. So until the 10,000 years gets over, he will be reborn as human only. In each of the human life, what he does is that he keeps on accumulating more and more of Raga, Dvesha, Moha. So when that bhava changes from human, it will immediately take the body form of an animal, to which he is supposed to go. In the last life of human, he will do so much of activities which will directly take him to wherever he should be going.
That means at 10,000 years, this human being will spend.
If we say there are 10,000 years.
So what decides this human bhava and how long it has to be?
It is there, Lata, it is like this. There are only 5 states of existence. One is in the Naraka, second is in Preta, third one is in human, and animal, and the fourth one is the human, and the fifth one is the Swarga. These are the 5 states of existence where every being can be, or every mind can be. Okay. So now, what decides the number of years? Nobody knows it exactly, because the years, earth years are different than the celestial years, so it doesn't really work that way. But what we can say is that there is something called as human bhava, as well as the other. In the Naraka, you have that bhava, then it goes into the next realm, or it stays back in the same realm, depending upon how much of the mind has got rid of whatever Raga, Dvesha, Moha it had collected. So
so it's all depends on what is your state of mind.
Right.
How long you can hold on to that state of mind.
Yes, right now, as we speak, what is our state of mind? If the state of mind is extremely blissful, as soon as the karma ends, you are in a blissful state of existence.
Okay.
So if I am already tortured in the mind that I want to kill this person, I want to hurt that person has done so many abusive things to me, how can she do like that, how can he do like that, all of that, So I have made dvesha as my common factor. So I'll keep on getting born in a family where only dvesha will thrive. And what it leads me is, it will directly lead me into hell after the human realm is over. And we can find that out. When you interact with people, you can find out what is their basic nature and where are they going. There would be lobhi, so they become animals. There would be meaning the highest amount of greed, like so much of ambition, so much of greed that I need this, I need that, I need this. So they become pigs in the end. Or they become bees. They keep on collecting. Some people keep collecting antiques. You see the fun now. They go to each place, their house is filled with antiques of every given kind, and they don't want to let go of it. And if somebody breaks by whatever chance, or they themselves break it, they feel so pissed off, they feel so worried, they feel so sad, and all of that. Now what it will lead into? You just check what it will lead into. If so much of attachment is there for antique, so the person becomes a bee whose job is to keep on collecting from various flowers. And it doesn't enjoy. And you see the people who are collectors, they really don't enjoy anything. They get pride of collecting it, that's all. So it can be seen in every given task we do till we die. Same thing with dvesha and moha, attachment to family, attachment to money, attachment to home, and all of that will eventually cause that atma to suffer. And Lata, you can do another thing since you have Bruno. Just watch how greediness is spoiling him. You keep many kind of food, you see what he does. He would like to lick everything. If you have tried that.
That I know. So if I want to put him in the balcony, I put some biscuits over there. So he will run and go.
Yes.
And sometimes I see the struggle in him, that I want freedom and I want that food.
Yes.
And sometimes he doesn't go and pick, so he would value his freedom. And sometimes it is too something which I don't give him very frequently, then he will sacrifice his freedom and then go. So I have seen, and he is when he keeps on looking at whatever food we are eating, but then he doesn't eat everything. He doesn't eat ice creams, he doesn't eat chocolates.
Correct.
There are some things he doesn't like, but still he keeps looking. And especially he comes and looks at me because he knows that I will give.
Yes.
All the other hands he will give, but he will keep coming and sitting at my feet and keep on looking and looking and looking. I said, you get up and go. You don't eat whatever I'm eating anyway.
Correct.
Yes.
So that being as Bruno has lobha. Now when another dog comes, he gets into krodha. And he thinks that dog is going to harm him. That is moha.
That reminds me, I had Brownie, my earlier dog.
Okay.
When I was small. So that Brownie was always tied and kept because there were a lot of people. Our home always used to be kept open, the front door. There will be a lot of people coming, so many of them were scared. So we used to tie him and keep in the veranda. Veranda will be always open. And then naturally there are a lot of cats around. It's not belonging to any house, but natural cats. So that one female cat, it always comes to our house for giving birth. So we had an attic above. So it always comes to our house to give birth, and then after when the kitten's a little bit big, it will take and go. So this this female cat, it will come and eat Bruno's food. And he just watches. He doesn't do anything. It's very surprising to see that, because cats and dogs are supposed to be enemies.
Right. No, if some... Yeah, please go ahead. You go ahead.
and then I was also sometimes this Brownie also knows how to, if he wants, he knows how to remove his belt and then go away, run away wherever he wants. So sometimes he does that. So this cat was there, and he was not in the attic. We had one room upstairs, so it was he has kept his kittens in that room. And this Brownie has gone. He has removed his belt and gone. And when I came and looked in the veranda, I did not see Brownie there. I was wondering, where did he go? Then I called loudly, Brownie, I called, and the cat answered from the top. So then I went running up. So Brownie was looking at that cat and watching, but he was not doing anything actually. And I was more worried for Brownie than the cat, because that it will beat its eyes. So then I just picked him up and brought him down. So the cat was telling, Brownie is here, please come.
Yeah, sometimes it do happen, Lata, that if they in their thoughts, like in the case of the cat and this dog, what you're talking about, in their thoughts, if they have a good intention, they will not do anything. In fact, they keep on helping each other.
Yeah, so I have seen many things I have seen. So Brownie is like a Pomeranian dog, so it has a lot of hairs. It will come out and it will look like cotton.
Correct.
And then this sparrows, small sparrows. There is a lot of trees in front of our house, so there will be a lot of sparrows. So it will come and it will. If we are standing somewhere nearby, it will never come. But then if we are inside, it will come, sit on the windowsill, do some sound, kiki, something maybe, and then Brownie allows, I don't know, it will come, pick up and go. So, so many things we have observed like this.
Yeah. So that being would be human and doing a lot of good things, but suddenly it got into so much of lobha that it turned itself into a dog, because the human bhava also ended at the same time.
He was an extremely intelligent dog. So when you said that dogs doesn't like to take bath, I used to give him almost everyday bath. And I asked him, in Malayalam only, I will ask him, do you want to take bath? He will jump up, he will shake, and he will say yes, or some barking sound. He will be so happy to take bath. And then I will make him stand there, and I will tell, when I am standing near you, don't shake and put water on me. So, and the nature of a dog is, as soon as you put water, it will shake and then remove that water.
Correct.
So he will wait. I said, okay, give your leg. So he'll keep his leg on my hand, other leg, face. I said, you get up. So he get up and stand. Then I'll put everything. Then I'll move far and say, now you shake. So he will do.
Lovely, yeah.
Oh, he was so intelligent, but then I compared to Bruno, is so dumb.
No,
I have done all this in my village with those dogs, village dogs.
Yeah, correct.
But here it is very tough to manage. Maintaining that.
Maintaining them is difficult. So he was very, very intelligent, extremely intelligent. When I
I will be joining another meeting.
Me too.
KP is already waiting for me.
Me also.
All right. Okay, so then we will continue tomorrow.
Bye.
All right, bye.
Bye.